Well, they had no idea what nutrition was. The Europeans had no clue at all, anything about nutrition. In fact, maybe the American Indian had no idea what nutrition was either. But the difference was Europeans had bad nutrition and the American Indian had very good nutrition. Even the Three Sisters, which is maize, corn, beans, and squash, just those three foods alone make up a nutritionally balanced diet. And they had many other foods, over 80 foods, just that came from just one Indian nation alone. One Indian nation gave more food types to the world than all of the European nations combined. The Czechs, Poles, Italians, the French, the English, the Germans, like the whole works. But just the Three Sisters alone, there's 2 amino acids that are missing from corn that otherwise could make it a complete diet in itself. But those are also found in the beans that they planted. And then beans gave a little bit of protein, and squash gave many minerals and vitamins as well. In England, they had a lot of disease in England. They had a lot of starvation, and they had a lot of disease. Northern Europe was really saved in the 1700s and 1800s by the potato, which is called the Irish potato. Of course, got to have a European name attached to it. The Irish potato. And in fact, the potato came from the Andean Mountains in South America, where they have 4,900 different potatoes. Yet they still are growing them there today. So Northern Europe was very much saved by the potato. And when a potato blight hit, believe me, they had serious famines and starvation because they became very dependent on the potato. In Southern Europe, it was more related to corn, but a similar thing happened there too, where they were somewhat saved. So that was a nutritionally balanced diet. Now, the English also had no concept about cleanliness either. And they enforced laws in the Americas against bathing and against cleanliness. So you've got a connection with Mother Earth, operating to work on a sense of well-being with Earth and with yourself. So a sense of well-being, you've got nutrition, fresh air, sunshine, exercise. Many of these types of things were contributed by the American Indian. In Europe, it would be difficult for a grade 7 or 8 child today to fit into a Spanish conquistador's suit of armor. The average height of Europeans at the time of Columbus was about 5 feet high. And due to bad nutrition, they had 1 out of every 10 people in Europe was disabled in some way. In other words, blind, deaf, crippled, hunchback, just plain insane. So when I talk about the fact that the Indian put the white man on the map, in many ways, they taught them how to live, not just live in America, they taught them how to live. They taught them how to live, period. Because Europe was not doing very well at that time on some of these basic issues, and certainly nutrition, cleanliness being some of the better ones. And on that side, bordering on cleanliness, was of course the disease, bacteria, viruses, warding off disease by being healthy, and then medicines as well. In the 400 years that Europeans have dominated these 2 continents, there isn't one medicine plant that they've found that wasn't known to the American Indian, not even one, in 400 years. And quinine, which came from the bark of a tree, and at one point cannot be grown in very many places in the world at all, that probably saved much of the world because without quinine, the Panama Canal would never have been built, and the Second World War may not have been won. So that's a little bit about nutrition.